We have one more question from Mr. Ken Bone about energy policy. Ken?
Yes. What steps will your energy policy take to meet our energy needs, while at the same time remaining environmentally friendly and minimizing job loss for fossil power plant workers?
Mr. Trump, you have 2 minutes. Step aside, Barb from Stranger Things. Ken Bone won the second debate. Snoop Dogg wants to get Ken Bone high. Ken Bone's debate question was really pretty great. Ken Bone. You guys remember him, right? That funny guy that was on TV that one time? No? Well, how about other flashes in the pan, like Rebecca Black or Bernie Spurd? You guys remember Joe the Plumber? Nothing? My point exactly. In a 24/7 news cycle where we value sound bites, headlines, and memes over in-depth substances, instant celebrities wax and wane like ocean waves on a weekly basis. Ken Bone, the mustached and red-sweatered pride of Shiloh, Illinois, gained internet stardom by asking a question at the second presidential debate. Ken attained the fame that so many of us desire, only to discover that within a few months, not only had his legacy diminished, but his reputation had tarnished. His story teaches us that the golden pedestal of micro-celebrity isn't all that it seems. Through the poems, a poem made out of actual headlines written about Ken Bone by Jason Gilbert, The Lament of an Online Journalist by Alex Balk, an untitled poem by Werner Twertzog, and Famous by Hillary Kopernik. The prose, The Ballad of Ken Bone by Danny DiPlacido, and How Ken Bone Became a Brand by Megan Garber. And the transcript from the second presidential debate, Ken Bone, an autopsy of instant fame. Today I had to write about Ken Bone. I knew it before I even saw it on my phone. The text, it said I'm looking at the trends and noting what I'm hearing from my friends. We're going to need a post about Ken Bone. I'd like to smash my head in with a stone. My sense of hatred is so fully blown. I'd love to pour some gas onto the internet, ignite the whole thing with a tiny cigarette and laugh and say, screw you, you're on your own. It's a beautiful dream, but one that will never come true. So there's only one thing left I have to do. I've shown you my soul, you know my despair. That's all I am now. So please, like and share. Today I had to write about Ken Bone. From regular guy to America's last hope, America needed a hero, and Ken Bone answered the call. Joe Jonas is man-crushing on his hero, Ken Bone. Ken Bone's Christian pop cover bandmate dishes all. In the space of a few days, Ken Bone has gone from a man to a meme to a celebrity to a brand, or more specifically a hashtag brand, which is to say that he has ridden the roller coaster of micro-celebrity to its inevitable commercialized conclusion, stopping along the way, of course, for lots of pictures to commemorate the experience later on. So first, there were all of those tweets, and the guy who wrote a song about him, and the Twitterer who wrote a poem about him. Mustached, red-sweatered, a benevolent Buddha. Oh, Ken Bone, you rise like a fiery phoenix from the ashes of American civility. Lead us home. Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, The New York Times, Time Magazine, and then Kenneth Bone, lovable hero, relatable everyman. flitter of suit pants reached the pinnacle of pop culture relevance. There is now a sexy Ken Bone Halloween costume. Of course there is. And of course, Ken is capitalizing on it all. The meme industrial complex is premised on the idea that attention is currency and that celebrity and advertising are inextricably linked to one another. The lines between the communal and the commercial were vanishingly thin, even before the internet came along. The web has eroded them, one meme at a time. Chelsea Handler wants to have kids with Ken Bone. How does Ken Bone's son feel about his dad's fame? Ken Bone has gained followers, but also death threats. Ken Bone is killing it at the internet fame game. But then came the Reddit Ask Me Anything session. The masses pried open the box to see who their wholesome hero really was, and inside, a treasure trove of innocuous sin. We may be leaving the Ken Bone zone. The illusion of Ken Bone was a giant lie. Ken Bone on J-Law. I saw her butthole and I liked it. Ken Bone is an internet star that was born and has died. The inevitable backlash begun upon hearing that their meme was an actual human being with unwholesome thoughts, desires, and opinions. Many began to condemn the man in the red sweater. Fame comes at a high cost, and Ken has now reached that celebrity level of fame. Millions of attention-hungry men and women will spend their entire lives clawing for a place on the pedestal where Ken now sits. A spot that was handed to him without his want or consent. Complete strangers find his prolific presence on their screens annoying, and now turn to blame Ken as if he directed this multi-million-dollar marketing campaign based around his mustache. Ken Bone has been swallowed, digested, and is now in the process of being painfully excreted. Oh, Ken Bone, the internet giveth and taketh away. Ken Bone is not as wholesome as he seems. Ken Bone has Ken Bonered his way out of America's heart. This is what happens when real humans become memes. The comments and the death threats will only increase. Poor Ken may find that his old simple life of anonymity has been erased permanently. Years from now, he'll be recognized on the streets. Complete strangers will ask to pose for selfies, and they'll continue to contact him and his family. This could impact his career prospects, his relationships, and even his mental health. But henceforth, Ken will always be recognized as the guy in the red sweater that's really into pregnant women. Forever. All of those years, teachers promised us that we could be anything we wanted to be. But we're this. Washed up grown-ups standing in line for American Idol tryouts. Bloggers with our own YouTube channels, grasping at the hope of viral like it's an Oscar. Because quantity is the greatest measure of self-worth. We define ourselves by the number of people that watch the pages of our stories unfold. We never ask if the plot matters. Stop wondering who is reading your story.
The world does not need more heroes. The world needs more acts of small kindness with no expectation of heroism.
The truth is, you can't be anything you want to be. You can only be yourself.
In all of the limits and glory of your own failing, but you can be yourself very, very well. Have you ever tried?
Fame is freakish. You must understand that you will be remembered by the accidents of daily interaction with the barista and the bank teller and your mother. So what will you do to be famous in your sister's eyes or your lover's? Anonymity isn't settling. It is the art of loving what you already have. There is so much more important than fame.